Hello and welcome to the In God We Trust coin channel. I am ManDad1964 and I'm bored, so making a video. That's what I do when I get bored. It's kind of a hobby, you know. So what's happened lately, and I hope my camera on the phone cooperates. It's been having trouble focusing in and out. It's like it's getting old, like my eyes. They have trouble focusing, adjusting from distance to near and all that kind of stuff. I don't know how that looks because my eyes are weak. So anyway, what did I pick up lately? I got this, the 2025 uncirculated peace dollar. And have y'all seen these? Maybe, y'all probably know about it. This is the first thing I've got from the Mint. Really compact holders now. They're square and they're not as fat, slimmer profile. A little different. And then they did away with that little thing that never worked anyway, that you would set the coin in. So I got that in. And I've just been eyeing it for a few weeks now. They've been out for a while. And it's got a mintage limit of 150,000, but I don't think they're going to get even over 100,000 of these struck. Just checked earlier, and it's sitting at 97,157 is all they've sold. So it's not, they're not going for it. It's not a highly sought after thing. But, I just thought, well, I'm going to pick it up. It'll probably never, carry a premium, even if it does remain under 100,000. That's just the way things go sometimes. Mintage does not always warrant a premium. There's a lot of coins out there with a very low mintage that they're just not highly sought after. I mean, even a mintage of 150,000, that would be one of the lowest. It will be one of the lowest ever peace dollars ever struck. But there it is. Thought I'd add that to the collection. That's the numismatic side of me, kind of collector side of me. I don't even know if you can call it numismatics. Sure you can. It's part of it. It's a hobby. It's what you do when you like coins. And I've said before, I got into stacking first. Generic silver is what I started with. This is a really cool 2-ounce piece I picked up in Columbus, Georgia one time. Ultra high relief. There was a whole series of these pirate coins. There's a guy walking the plank. When I bought this is 2 ounces. I paid 80 bucks. That was very expensive at the time. I think, spot back then was under 25. It was probably just hovering around 22 or something. So this was a lot to pay for 2 ounces of silver, 80 bucks. But now look at it. I came on and I checked. It was right before I came on, 48.80. So we're still sitting pretty. We got teased with what was the high? 54.50. I don't know what it officially closed at to create a new nominal high, but pretty high up there. And then we had this pullback, which just a lot of people took their profit sharing. Can't blame them. But it hadn't receded as far as some have speculated. It's maintaining, it's holding. No reason to panic. And so what's the new floor? That's what we're doing, right? We're establishing a new floor, a new bottom that silver will not pass through again. So it's not 46 because it dipped below 46 the other day. Can we say it's 45? I don't know. Is it 40? Sure. I made a video almost a year ago to the date. I think it was November 13th when I released it. And my question in that video was, is $25 the new floor? And, I was saying it was. And hey, my word held true. It has not dipped below 25. It hadn't dipped below 30 since when? Quite a while, early first of the year. I think it broke through 30. I should have wrote that down, but I didn't. Anyway, and gold's sitting around what, 4,000, so it's maintaining. And people are now saying this is getting ready to just now make another trek upwards. We shall see. But does it really matter? In the grand scheme of things, I don't think it does. Because if everything goes to pot, you want to be holding something tangible, such as silver or gold. And it doesn't really matter the dollar amount. It doesn't matter if it's $40 an ounce, $50 an ounce, $20 an ounce. If they could devalue this to zero, I didn't know it, but I just learned the other day, they devalued at one time crude oil to less than zero, wasn't it? It was negative something. Let me know if you remember what that was, negative. It went negative, because oil is a commodity just like silver is. Treated the same way. They kind of run the same patterns, somewhat. Of course, we know they're also both manipulated. There's a skirmish over in the Middle East. Well, there go the oil prices. Just speculators. We're at their mercy. But we won't be at their mercy if everything goes to pot and the dollar goes to zero. This will still retain value. It will hold purchasing power. And I was just looking in the Bible again, making references, looking for references of silver. And there's the story of, well, first it's mentioned in Exodus. Well, I was thinking about Judas. He betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces. It doesn't really just tell us what they were. It just says 30 pieces of silver. And a lot of people speculate they were a denarius, because there's another parable where Jesus speaks of the kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out and he hired workers for his vineyard. And he agreed to pay them a day's wage, which was 1 denarius, a Roman coin, Roman silver coin. And now, a denarius wasn't a troy ounce of silver like this silver eagle is. A denarius was less than the size of a nickel. Close in size, but much less in weight. Our nickels are 5 grams. When they first started making denarius in 211 BC, 211 BC, they first started making denarius, or denarii, and they contained about anywhere from 98 to 95% silver, and they weighed 4.55 grams. That's less than a nickel. And so that shows you how little content. That was a day's wage. This much silver was a day's wage. And again, that's what Jesus was betrayed for. And Exodus 21:32 tells us that was the price of a slave. If your ox gored a slave, well, you had to pay that guy that owned the slave 30 pieces of silver. So, and even though that was thousands of years earlier, things didn't increase in price too much. Things pretty much remained the same. That's not like we are experiencing here in these last 100 years, how things have just exponentially increased and tripled and doubled, and like our U.S. debt, 38 trillion now, I think. So 30 pieces of silver, that was the price of a slave, and it was almost kind of like a disparaging price they paid Judas. Like, here, we'll give you 30 pieces of silver for that man, Jesus. It's the price of a slave. That's all he's worth. Really, I look at it like this. Judas, he sold himself for 30 pieces of silver to the devil. That's what happened there. And so, thinking again about the U.S. economy and how everybody's predicting the end of America as we know it, the end of our the dollar. The debt is getting out of control, and everyone talks about the American debt so much. I didn't know the whole world's in debt. All countries are indebted. They just borrow money. It's a cycle of debt, and that's what keeps the world going around right now. Economically, we borrow from China. China borrows from us. We borrow from Japan. Japan borrows from us. Germany, UK, everybody is just borrowing from everybody. And it's this continuous cycle of borrowing debt that keeps everything going. I looked online to see what would America have to do to revalue their gold in order to get us out of debt. We would have to revalue our gold. I think it said 164,000 an ounce. And that's considering we have over 8 metric tons of gold, if that's true. And we revalued it at 164,000 an ounce. We could pay off our debt. Because right now, if you took all the gold that's above ground from every country in the world, it only adds, at today's price, it adds up to less than $12 trillion. All the gold in the world right now at its current value could not pay off, couldn't come near paying off America's debt. So it just leads to, speculation that it can't go on forever. And what do you want to be holding when it goes to pot? I want to be holding American Silver Eagles and even constitutional silver. Now, there was a big uproar the other day because people were complaining nobody wanted to buy the 90% silver. Well, I don't care because I don't want to sell it. I'm not trying to flip my stack right now. You want to hold this for the future. You want to hold this. If you got to sell it, it has to be a last means, a desperation. It's all you got. It's a life-saving thing. Then I can understand that. But otherwise, do not sell. And again, I wouldn't go to a coin shop to sell my stuff anyway. You could sell it on eBay. And yeah, you're going to pay fees, but it's probably going to come out to the same of what they were going to give you anyway. So there's always other people on eBay that are going to buy it from you. So hold on to your constitutional silver. And they were also complaining they had all this other kind of just off the wall 95% silver, sterling, foreign coins, 80% silver, 40% silver. I got out of that. I quit stacking 40% silver because I kind of, I'm not the brightest bulb on the Christmas tree, but I was able to see and I'd already been hearing little bits and pieces, even months ago, refiners they don't want 40% silver because it takes too much energy to get that 40% silver out of that coin. So I've sold all of that. I don't have any left except what I got in a little album over there. That's it, just to fill holes. I don't stack that anymore. I don't think it's worth it. Coin roll hunting halves to get 40% silver. That's about what you're going to get. That's great. That's a good hobby. Nothing wrong with it. I just don't do it anymore. And as I've said in the past, I went from being a generic silver stacker to stacking sovereign coins, mainly American Silver Eagles, because these are going to sell in the future more than any other countries. This is the most popular coin in the world. In the world, not just America. So that's what you want to stack. And yeah, it's a premium on it, but it'll pay off later, I believe. So like I said, I went from generic to sovereign to then I just, silver price got kind of boring for a while, kind of lulled us to sleep, just bouncing between 20 and 30 for a few years. Last real upswing was back in 2011, which I have no idea what that was like because I wasn't around in the silver game. So that made me get into numismatics, and well, now I'm kind of swinging back. I am selling off most of my numismatic coins to buy American Silver Eagles and gold. Because I believe if things happen the way everyone is predicting they're going to happen, that the upside of numismatic coins is much less than Silver Eagles rising exponentially, gold rising exponentially. These will not be affected as much as spot price, by spot price. Very little, in fact. In fact, pre-33 gold, you can get it for almost that spot. There's hardly any numismatic value in these coins right here because they're not rare dates, first of all. So basically, it's just the gold content in these pre-33 gold coins. And I could see that happening to a bunch of silver coins also. And so I do buy these, but I don't do it as an investment now. I do it more as a flip, like this one right here. Bought this the other day. It's a 1888 Carson City, the most sought after mint mark. It's an 1880, graded MS62, but it has the reverse of 79. It's got those round, real round mint marks there. Almost like the same as on the 1878. Had those real round, circular, not oblong C's on the mint mark. So that's the reverse of 79. And then there's also a, it's an 1880 over 7. That second 8, and you can make it out there. See that little shiny spot below the 8? I'm not going to try to get close because my camera just doesn't focus on that kind of stuff. But you can see it even from the distance. You ain't even got to get close. That's a low 7. That's the remainders, the remnants of a 7 that they punched over. That's pretty cool. It's not designated because it's only increases the value about 25 bucks. But I got this coin for sale on my eBay store. If you want to go there, check it out. Just go to my channel page and look under description, and my the link to my eBay store is down there. So, what do y'all think about that? Switching from numismatics more so to stack more, because I just believe the potential is in just silver price. You know what I mean? Just the pure weight of silver. If it gets to, and like some people are predicting in a year or two, triple digits, that's, yeah, we need to stack more of this. And then, because the margins, like I said, you know, buy this stuff to flip, the margins are slim, very slim. You're looking, on average, you're probably looking $25 to $30 a coin, realistically, to make. Every once in a while you get lucky. I mean, you get much better results buying from the mint, you know, flipping stuff like that. But on just the older stuff, yeah, 25, 30 bucks. You're lucky to make that much once you get the eBay fees out of it. So, I just wanted to mention too, before I get out of here, I've just been rambling. I don't even know if any of this makes sense. I'll watch it and see if it's worth releasing. Yeah, Yeah, the denarius, which, you know, I don't have one, so I'm just using a nickel as a representative. You know, and it's the same thing America has done with their currency. They started to debase it, right? That's what happened to Rome. Rome fell. Rome fell. The Western, they split in 286 AD. The empire split, Western and Eastern, and then the Western portion of Rome fell in 476 AD. And as I mentioned earlier, the denarius came out in 211 BC. Again, 4.55 grams, 98 to 95% silver. In 200 BC, that's how long it took, 11 years, they reduced the size to 3.9 grams. And it still had the same amount of silver, but then in 64 AD, it reduced down to 3.41 grams and 93.5%. So the ones that Jesus was betrayed for probably still had the, of course they did. They had the, probably the 3.9 grams, 98 to 95%, but they were the size of a nickel. It's, you know, very just small. You know, we always think of, you know, 30 coins, you know, it's at 30 ounces. No, it wasn't that much. It wasn't that much at all. Then what happened? In 148 AD, the size remained the same throughout. So I'll just tell you how much they reduced the silver content by. It went down to 83.5% in 148 AD. In 241 AD, it went down to 48%. And then in 274 AD, it went all the way down to 5%, a measly 5%. And they were still trying to pass it off to the people as being the original pure silver, or almost pure. And that's what happened. You know, they just, it's kind of the same place where America is. Of course, we've already removed all the silver from our coins. The gold doesn't circulate anymore. We're not on the gold standard. We don't use silver for currency. And, you know, we saw the silver coming out in 64 and reduced the Kennedy $50 to 40%, then to nothing. Nothing. It's a nothing burger now. You know, the Cupro nickel clad, worth 50 cents. So, and then it just was a precursor. What happened to Rome? That's more than likely going to happen to the United States. So, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. So, I thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know if you got anything out of that. Just, you know, wanted to tell you I'm kind of swinging back from numismatics, more into stacking. I think that potentially the upside is greater. So that's what I'm doing. I'm not telling anyone to do that. I'm just sharing what I'm doing. And that's all I got. Y'all have a good one, and God bless you.